Hi there, this is Shrikant Dasari. So in this lesson, we are going to learn about how to write a small program using the concept of nested for loops. Okay, so in the last couple of lessons or last three lessons, we have learned how the looping constructs like for, while, and do while work here. Okay, so the nested for loop is a concept. It's very common to any programming language, not only C++ but also C, Java, or whatever it might be. So if you take a loop inside another loop, so then that automatically becomes a nested for loop. Okay, so obviously there will be two loops. One is the outer loop, and the other one is the inner loop here. Okay, so before starting that, let me tell a few words about my channel. So this is my channel, the Dasari Tools here. Okay, so if you go to home page, you get all the listing of all the videos here, like C, C++, Turbo C, C using Turbo C, and data structures, and so on and so forth. Okay, so here are the playlists of various languages, various programming languages. Feel free to subscribe to this. Okay, so if you click on subscribe button, and you can subscribe to it. Okay, so if you go to my Facebook page also, I have created a Facebook page here for this particular channel, where regularly some good stuff regarding our computer programming and things for all being updated here. Okay, so if you want, you can like that also. Okay, so now let me launch the IDE, and let me add all the basic stuff like header files and so on and so forth. I have a stream, so let me add the new namespace. So using namespace stt, so into main, cin dot get. Okay, to make the output standstill, so return. Okay, so return 0. Right. Okay, so now to demonstrate the use of this nested for loop syntax, let's take two variables, I and j. Okay, so first let us take so we are doing the nested for loop program using our for loop. Okay, so whatever the loop you take, for, while, or do while, so it works the same. Okay, so for the demonstration purpose, to keep it simple, I'm just taking a single for using the for loop. I'm going to write a nested for loop program here. Okay, so nested loops program, sorry. So I is equal to 0. So here our idea is to generate 10 random numbers, or 10 random numbers of okay, so 10 random numbers. Each row will have 10 numbers here. Okay, so if you can imagine that, so we are generating a lottery numbers, so 10 lottery numbers, 10 different lottery numbers here. Okay, so a lottery numbers is a string or an array of numbers. So every time you need to get a different combinations here. Okay, so that we are going to use using a rand function also. Okay, uh, so let me say I less than 10 for the very first time, so I plus plus. Okay, so inside that we need to take another for loop. Okay, so let's keep it as j is equal to 0. So j less than 10 again. So 10 random numbers of different combinations 10 times. Okay, so that's the reason we have taken both as 10 here. Okay, uh, so now let's write it something like this. Cout. Let's put some space here, and now let's say rand. Okay, so rand function is used to generate the random number, and I'm using this endl statement a couple of times. Okay, so we have oops, I accidentally have put a semicolon here. Okay, so now what happens is here, so let us put these endl statements not here. This is not the appropriate place for them. Okay, so after every iteration, you need to have your endl statements here at the end here a couple of times. You can also use your slash n. Okay, so now if you run this tiny little program, let's see what happens here. Oh my goodness, it's messed up here. Okay, it's messed up. So let's do one thing here. Okay, so random number, it's generating a huge random numbers here. Okay, so let's control the random number here by saying something like percentage 100. So I said below 100 only comes here. Okay, okay, so now if you observe, you have the 10 different random numbers, if I'm not wrong. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, So you have the combination of 10 different random numbers here. Okay, so we have achieved this feat because of using this nested for loop syntax here. Okay, so this is the outer loop. Let's have a comment here. So outer loop. So this is the inner loop here. Okay. Okay. So we have two loops here, outer loop and inner loop. So the outer loop, the sole purpose of the outer loop here. Okay. So if you run the program once again, the sole purpose of the outer loop is to maintain the constant nature. So let's remove this single handle here. Okay. Let's make it single. It's quite a bit messy here. Okay. So the sole purpose of this outer loop is that is to maintain the iteration such that the first, let's make it more clearer here. Okay. So ticket is equal to, let's put some, I'm just putting a message here. It says that, okay, we have messed up the syntax. Okay. So I think this should not be inside the loop here. Okay. So the message should be outside somewhere here. So let's say for the very first time, let's say I plus 1. So you need not get weird here. Okay. So all these messages are just for understanding purpose. First one. Okay. So let's have a message at the very beginning here. Okay. So let's say something like this: lottery ticket. Okay, so lottery ticket 1. So like that you'll get the message here. Okay. So let me run the program. Excuse me. Okay. So let's put some differentiation also. So all these things are not mandatory, just for understanding purpose here. Okay. So, okay, so if you observe here, so the sole purpose of this the outer loop is that it iterates the 10 times. So if you observe here in the output, I have just put a message here: lottery ticket 1, lottery ticket 2, lottery ticket 3, and so on and so forth, such that until 10 here. Okay, so the sole purpose of the first outer loop is that it just prints the 10 times. It iterates the 1 to 10. Okay, so that's the sole purpose of the outer loops. The sole purpose of the inner loop is that to generate 10 random numbers simultaneously for each iteration of the outer loop, and just print them out using the cout statement here. Okay, so that's the reason with the help of this nested for loops, we are able to achieve 10 different random numbers 10 times here. Okay, so this is the basic stuff about so lottery sorry, I'm saying lottery nested for loops here. Okay, so nested loops. Okay, so in the same way it works with any other loop, like while loop, do while loop, or any other loop. Okay, so do while loop or any other loop like that. Okay, so this is the basic stuff. Okay, so feel free to comment on this tutorial if you like, your views or feedback in the form of comments on YouTube. So see you in the next lesson. Goodbye.